So before demonstrating the third way of navigation, I am going to make a small change in the About web file. I want to change the font size of the text so that we can see it properly. Let me give it a font size of 40.0. And it's time to talk about the third way of navigation now. Let's head over to the main.dart file then. I am going to comment out the routes, and instead of them, I am going to write on generate route, which is a property that we can use for navigation. Inside the function that is within the round brackets, there must be a parameter which is going to accept route data, and that data will help us to navigate from the line where the navigator.pushNamed class will be called. So I am going to name the parameter settings, for example. Then let's open curly brackets. Here we can start writing the routes. Remember that you can use a switch statement here, which is something like an if-else statement. But for the sake of explaining it in an easier way, I am just going to use an if statement. Inside the if statement, we need to check the name of the route given by the navigator.pushNamed in order to direct the user to the required page. So let's go ahead and write if settings.name is equal to /. Then we need to direct it to the home web. To do that, return the material page route, and within the builder, put a nameless function with an underscore as the parameter, and then call home web. Now, instead of writing all the routes in the main.dart file, we should create another file dedicated only for the routes to make the code more organized. But before doing that, let's remove this part from here, as we are shifting the routes to another file. And now that it's removed, we can go ahead and create another Dart file, which we're gonna name routes. This file will contain all the necessary routes for the navigation. Inside the routes, I want to import the material.dart. Then I would like to create a class called routes. inside the class, I am going to create a function which is going to be passed in the onGenerate property of the material app. So let's write static and then let's type a function that is route dynamic. After it, write generate route as the name of the function. It is going to accept a variable of type route settings, and let's name the variable settings. Inside the curly braces, we are going to use switch statements that, as I mentioned earlier, are very similar to if-else statements. Just observe how I am writing the statements. So the value which we are going to check is settings.name. Now open the curly braces once again and write case followed by the root name, that is a slash. Give it a colon, after which you will need to direct the route to home web. So type return material page route, and within the builder, give it a nameless function with an underscore. Finally, write home web. Of course, don't forget to give a semicolon and a comma here. So, what this basically means is that if the settings.name has a case of slash, then we need to return the route to the home web page. Alright, there is also another property inside the material page route, which is called settings, where we need to pass the settings variable which we accepted earlier. It will pass all the necessary route settings needed by the material page route in order to function properly. Just like I wrote case slash, I am going to write another case and check if the root name is /about. I hope you remember that the About web page accepts an argument. So let me create a final variable and name it args, and inside it pass the settings.arguments. The arguments is a variable that is going to be passed from the pushed name.